Hello little folks, welcome back. This is Gnomes. Let's start with another stream here of world building and character rigging, actually cartoony character rigging. So first we bring new soundtracks here, and let's see if anything is missing. Alright, so still, the idea today will be just to improve this rig and show some of the features that are going on. So this is probably advanced rigging. Of course, if we look at a rig setup now, what it contains, it might be not look that advanced, right? But in order to reach this, it's not clean setup yet, it's still in work in progress, but in order to achieve this, this is quite challenging, right? So this is why I still call it advanced rigging. And by the ways, there is here a combination of features and setups. So the first setup, maybe you are familiar, it's the universal sonic mouth rig. So basically it's the thing that the rig setup that which allows us to, okay, so there's, oh, I see, I've changed a parenting thing here, so I see why I shouldn't have done it. So anyways, so you see, I'm still struggling here. So we have this more classical jaw. If you're not familiar with this system, where's the master jaw? This is the master jaw. No, this is not here. Let's reset here. Oh, it's here. It's this widget here. Okay, so this is the master jaw, and you see that it has the potential of moving other bones. And so my main discover here, well, there are many findings, but my main discovery is that we can associate the universal sonic mouth rig here, which is just because I've changed the parenting here of these bones here to this, so we're gonna reassess that soon. War. What if this is parented to no parent? No, it's just because it's not showing. Okay, it's parented there. Let's make a, so you see this one, which would be this. Usually these are mouth bones, they are parented to the mouth positioning here. But in this case I've changed the parenting so that we have these controllers here, which they are not really necessary, but what I really like about this is that we have this sort of automation, not exactly automation I would call, but this thing for the lips, right? For the, I call it upper jaw. Right, and here there's something that I need to assess, what is how to prevent some stuff here, and of course clipping out there. But mostly this, and we can also move that. Yeah, this is not okay. These bones here are the arcades, and we can do an alien thing here. If I just pick this and turn off these shrink wraps. So this is a funny thing that I found some time ago. So you can have like protruding. This can be used in subtle ways. No, it's for some reason. I think if not all the shrink wrap. Oh, because this bone has a different color. If it wasn't in the selection. No, never mind. It is. Okay, let's do it again. Yes, so I want this to just turn off this shrink wrap. So now note that we can, as we pose the jaws, right? No, this is a mechanism bone. It's actually, yeah, this is the bottom jaw, right? Note that we can no, the rotation doesn't do nothing here. And unfortunately not the scaling, but we can change that. So for example, yeah, so for example I can this is probably harsh, but yeah, X, the y-axis doesn't seem to do anything. Oh, because the y-axis the stretching, right? So basically, and even the stretching is controlled to have no volume variation. So I can probably have this thing here, copy scale. So the mechanism bone, which is the parent of these arcades for the top, we get something like, no, it's not limit scale, it's copy scale, sorry. Local space, yes, I think they are. That should be safe. Then not the Y, so just here. So if I scale now, we have not the Y, right, but the, so you can have some tweaks which can be interesting, because then we can control the arcades from this instead of, so these bones probably should hide them, and usually this is a line, right? So now let's just pick here and copy selected bone constraints, copy scale, just change the target here to tweak arcade. So it's the same thing, there, and for some reason there's just some displacement, I think. So let's see. Seems to be yeah, I think it's just because of the orientation. Yeah, the right seems regular. Okay, so I have to think how I'm gonna solve the last remaining things here. So basically, so that we can move into something more like the shape keys for the mouth, right? So here, let's hide some stuff here. I have to organize this. Alright, the arcades, I already showed what about those things, so let's just re-enable those shrink wraps. I still would like to, so maybe this could be driven, right? Does changing the influence here has any relevance here? I don't think. I don't know how that interacts with the bones. So the idea is to to prevent the intersections. So if I do this, immediately I lose the possibility of these intersections happen because there are no bones on the top side. So this is, if this moves up, it gets, so there's lack of some sort of lack of protection there, which it's not trivial to solve that. We could consider it as some sort of collision problem. Anyways, so also we don't need the ellipse. Yeah, for the arcades we turned it on, so I just can disable that. So let's look at this thing. So I like this simple setup here, that there's a tutorial that maybe you know, Joe Carlino, which easy mouth rig in Blender. I think this one, yeah, this very accurate tutorial, so very good. But of course it's a simple case face rig. Cartoony very simplified, although the fundamentals are very core, so it's very good. But there is something limiting about those kind of tutorials. Of course, no tutorial is perfect. I mean, this is one of the best tutorials in melt rigging I've seen. I've even been rewatching it now to get more insights, and actually it's very sophisticated in the basis, right? But the problem is that when we want to try to adapt this to other styles, other rigging, then it's like on different scenarios which are not as simplistic as the character design there presents, that we might, like in my case, yes, I could totally use many of those concepts, but at some point it wasn't just enough to get the expressions that I wanted, so I needed to go look further into something more advanced or more differentiated, and this is when I've reached the universal sonic melt rig, right, which is, I've tested with bendy bones. I test a lot of stuff. What's happening here? Why I think it's because of this. Yeah, I need to lock this, otherwise the bones, they will always be I'll always lose the armature selection to something else. So I need to grab, so I think here these are no dependency cycles. What are those things? User burner source blender pizza internal. This is a different warning. Maybe there's something left in the script. I was playing with oh yes, exactly. So there's apparently no. No, this is okay. I don't know what. I will check that later, so it doesn't matter. But I was using some scripting for that I've learned for a very important thing actually. Let's get can make a highlight here, folks. That should be very useful. So disable I thought yeah, so this is the, so there's a, okay, so I'll show you a case scenario where this shines. And I hope that will be valid here. Yes, so folks, let's get here. So folks, here there is a very interesting subject here. This should be vanilla default in Blender, right? But apparently it's not, it's just scripting. So there's this disable or enable all constraints, bond constraints in this case, with one click. Can someone help out? So blah blah. So there's this guy who came up with here with some coding here, but Python, then there is some corrections, and so basically one is for changing the influence. There's some retakes, so maybe exactly I had to find a way. So but the information was given, that was it, just some perfectioning. So basically this is the disable all the bond constraints at once. So just import BPI object equal BPI context object. So recognize this object for the armature thing, armature object for bone in object poses, bones for in constraint, I think in bond constraint. So constraint mute, so true. So this will disable, right? Mute this true, disable all the bond constraints at once. And then the way to apply this is very bizarre, right? Not bizarre, there's for but I mean that it's not super trivial, so I had to check out how that would work. So let's do it. So I think it's Shift F1 for, no, it's Shift F, there's the Python console here. So it's like I would copy paste this, right, entirely. So for example, then we can re-enable those bond constraints, so con mute equals false, or we can change the influence, right? Set influence to 0, set influence to 1. So it's just, I think, nearly the same thing, except that. So thanks for the folks there in Blender Artist Forum that bring up the question and the solutions. Constraint influence, I don't know if this is constraint, but doesn't matter. So, and so basically in my case I just want these two ones. So I just copy this, and before I paste, yeah, because I've heard sometimes we cannot write and sometimes we can write. I don't get it, the text yet. So you see here that if I'm doing, for example, wave painting, so a real case scenario where that will be particularly interesting, you see that the deformed bones, they are, well, I cannot pose them. So this is very annoying, because if we not only will have to select the tweak bone of it, right, its respective tweak bone, then we lose the, we have to make one click then go back, and so this is, we don't, so this is not very nice, right? Or we could try to, no, we can only have one bone selected at a time apparently, because this is, no, yeah, so we could do this, but this is risky anyways. So and there's another problem, folks, is that if I'm using some masking here, then if I would need to swap the bone that I need to, it will unmask my stuff. So I have to Control Z, it's a mistake that will ruin the mask, or I'll have to turn off the mask, right? I have a shortcut here, O key, P key, so to facilitate this. I don't know, this is new, so this is the default thing. So I have to unmake the mask, disable the mask option, then change the bone, and see, it's very, if I were to do this change, get here, or as unloose the mask. So this is super confusing, but we can use to it. So the ideal thing here, okay, I want to disable all the bone constraints of this, but this is one by one, like it's oh, but then you can, maybe you can get turn off like these ones, okay, but okay, turns out with hold alt key, right? So but then turns out that there are different bone constraints, and some will be turned off. The shrink, yeah, yes, here eventually we'll get rid of all of them, but this is really not optimal, right, folks? So yeah, so it's just not really nice, right? So instead, let's get them back. Yeah, at this point I should have done some sort of Control Z. Maybe it'll be easier if I just, yeah, let's do this, and holding Alt, in principle this should do for the ones which have similar names, right? Then it will, if Blender recognize they are the same, then in some ways, then it will automate. So otherwise no. So this is okay, just organizing this stuff. So instead, what we can do here, of course, then we could think that there is, oh, but then you can just disable the rest position. Great, but then the bones, you cannot pose any bone, right? So it's over, game over, folks. And so well, there's nothing left. Oh, then just, I don't know, delete the bone. So this is not, none of those solutions are fine, right? So this is where this thing comes in handy. So Control C, Control V, enter, and I think I need to enter this once again, and now it has validated. Of course, this might cause some issues because now you see, I can pose now, and the bone constraints, they were all disabled, and now I can within, but that on the backdrop, the downside is that if there were some setup from bone constraints that were setting a rest pose for what I was trying to rig, then this is not very nice, right? So this can still not ideal, but this can help a lot in certain situations, right? And so then to get back, we can just so here I haven't tried, but I could just copy paste this one. But if I copy paste here, okay, here I can just do this false, and immediately all the bone constraints are back. So that is real cool, right, folks? So scripting for noobs, there you go. So this is good stuff. I want to learn something about some Python at some point, but I never start because there are always other priorities. But it's interesting, and by doing this kind of stuff we already start to have some insight. So this can help a lot already, just knowing some basics and some usable cases, right? So this is probably the first use of scripting I'm doing in Blender that I understand a little that worth using. So that's it, folks. That's the highlight. By the way, I'll leave this in the video description, right, folks? So you can copy paste that, and also the link to that discussion. That's it. Hello, welcome at Hermesin. What rig system are you using? So welcome. I'm using here a combination of the universal sonic mount rig setup, which is here, universal. So you can download it. It's this one from Kamal. I've made some variations and some additions to it, and still experimenting a little, but I'm using basically, this is the mount rig setup, if you ask for the mount rig, right? And then I'm building other stuff on top of it, like for example, I'm trying to combine the universal sonic mount rig. Oops, there are some things there that are incorrect. Yeah, so I'm trying to combine this Joy Carlino setup for the, why it is not moving, well, there's something wrong about the, oh, it's the, I know what happened. It's because, okay, there is a problem there. It's because I used the script and it enabled all the bone constraints. Yeah, but it looks so complex. Hold on. It's actually, if there is a guide, those things are actually pretty feasible. Like there is the, if you have a simple character design, a bit more like this, and the head is separated from the body, then not that it makes it simple, right? But in some certain case, in the case of this rig, it can help a lot because of the subdivision surface modifier. So here my Blender is crashing. Sorry folks, let's turn this off. But I'll show you, my idea here is to present how this thing here, yeah, okay, let's open Blender once again. The idea is to present here some of the features, how those things work. So the script has enabled some loose bone constraints here that I weren't using. So I was combining this with Joy Carlino's tutorial, which is some foundational thing for certain more classical mount rigging, I guess. Easy mount rig. So this is very good tutorial. I was talking in the beginning. Not this is crap. So here we got, I'm still trying to, so I have the master jaw here. It shouldn't be moving this actually, but it is doing because of some, yeah, I think I cannot prevent these, but let's just turn this off for now. Yeah, so we have this, and by the way, I can don't constrain this to the draw. We have this thing here, and so what I've done is that I was doing the universal sonic mount rig here, but I have to reconnect this here. Let's try to do these ones, the top and the bottom. it's hard for me to explain right now everything but you'll get the idea here. What's the big picture. So basically, there is the problem of doing this. I'm starting with the rig system that comes with Blender. Oh, it's a rig. You mean Rigify, right? Rigify add-on, Rigify extension is that one. The meta rigs, human meta rig. I'm sort of a noob on those, so if that's the case, I don't. So here the cool thing of Rigify add-on, one cool thing about the face rig is there's some updates, I think, and there's a lot of automation for the eyes rig and maybe for the mouth rig too, I'm not sure, but essentially yes, for the eyes rig, and that is very interesting. And so here the universal sonic mouth rig is the system that allows to do this, right? You have the mouth slide on top of the surface, which is the muzzle feature, right? And for that sliding, there would need some sort of it's not new solution, but the universal sonic mouth rigs use it in a special case. Yeah, for the mouth basically is that we have the muzzle ghost mesh. It's a dummy model also called, but I call it ghost mesh because it's not this one but this one. Let's hide not hide, just use the, so it's a mesh that mimics the shape of the face of the muzzle basically, and so it's a duplicate that becomes a separated mesh object. Then it is shrinked through the, particularly it is shrinked with the face mesh shrink operator, because it is regular shrinking, regular rescaling sort of along normal, so sort of a extrusion thing. Shrink flatten, Alt S, so we can then have this mesh, not the, yeah, the reduce proportionally, so it's like the literally a shrinked muzzle. It will be, usually it should maintain consistency with the character design. And then the lips, and only the, well, not only the lips, actually there will be a difference in the mesh, in the geometry and essentially the topology, because the ghost mesh, the one that is behind, doesn't have a mouth hole, so it is a complete, it is no hole, right, topology. So that means that, well, that doesn't mean anything yet, but it allows that the lips rig, the lips mesh and the lips bones, and precisely, more specifically, here my system is a bit different, but in the universal sonic mouth rig, where the lower face, the muzzle is very smooth and very spherical, sort of very curved, the one I have here is it's more complex, so it's much more complicated. Then this thing, sometimes it warps in strange ways, actually, but so I cannot do the exaggerate. I don't need that too for the character, but we can do a lot of exaggerations actually. And then we have the lips bones. In this case I have this tweak lip, so we can manipulate the lips, and these will push the mesh, only the surface mesh here, the real mesh of the character. And there would be other bones not these ones. This one, no, this one is for the lips. So there's the layer of the lips, which are these very top things with limited influences. The ghost mesh has nothing to do with the lips, otherwise this will create dependency cycle. So the lips, deform lips bones, these ones, they are carried by its respective tweak bone. This is the universal sonic melt rig. It's more simple. It doesn't have tweak bones here, it's just control bones. It's just the deform, you control directly the deform bone, right? It's easier. And so then we would have other facial structures for the muzzle, and these are very interesting in the universal sonic melt rig because these will deform in synchrony, in sync, the ghost muzzle mesh there. You see it's deforming, and at the same time this bone, for the cheekbone here, it deforms both ghost that we are seeing here behind, right, and the face. So it's a double deforming two objects, mesh objects simultaneously. This the lips bones don't do. The lips bone only deform the one of the meshes. So this will allow, this curious, intricate system will allow the lips mesh, or what would be the mouth mesh region around the mouth hole, including the lips, to be floating, right, sliding on, surfing on top of the, not of the muzzle, but the ghost muzzle, which is in this invisible wire mesh there. So here I can pose this, because this bone is a master melt position bone. It has a shrink wrap bone constraint targeting and it's aligned with y-axis, aligned to normal of the faces. So this bone is shrink wrap bone constraint, so not a shrink wrap modifier. The shrink wrap modifier, there's also this, there's the shrink wrap modifier, I forgot. So this is for certain region of the the muzzle mesh, the real muzzle mesh. We want partially this vertex group here, we want it to shrink wrap. Let's find it. Control Shift X. It's modifier shrink wrap muzzle. So this is the shrink wrapping mesh towards this is the mesh that is shrink wrapping to the ghost muzzle. And you see that it doesn't include the lips. So the lips, they are sort of, technically they would not be shrink wrapped, so they would be free to be pulled away, unless I have perhaps some extra bone constraint here, and I have a shrink wrap bone constraint for a lot of these bones, but in this case it's a shrink wrap with just outside, so I cannot pull the bone, push the bone inside. You see the surface, this is because it's going on the top, but it's not going inside, right? I cannot push it inside, it stays outside of the normals of the wire mesh, but it can still go outside, so I can technically here is not being used at the best potential, but yeah, we can do something crazy like, you know, Simpsons like stuff. So this is while at the same time preserving, not that we sometimes wouldn't like to have the lips going inside, but I think this would be less common, I guess. nice for Toony characters. Yeah, so this is, wow, that pull away is really cool. Yeah, this was kind of interesting, right? So you can achieve that with already the Universal Sonic Melt rig. So here we can also do some alien stuff, because these are, we can pull the arcades out. So this is so here we have some controls for the arcades. Anyways, so but let me show you the, actually there is something more interesting that we can do for expressions. Actually, yeah, so this is the let's see if I reconnected this already. Okay, now it is reconnected. Okay, those things, so I cannot unparent them from this. This will cause problems. But what I could do is revitalize this setup, which is just a, okay, it has the parenting offset to this. So this, let's see without the widgets what this is like. Basically, oh, welcome Tide, welcome, or T1DE. So here, let's show how that would work. This is the master mount position, as in the Universal Sonic Melt rig. You see that it is carrying L related to lips, but there is something else going on there, which is, so these bones, they are minor and these are major. So this is what I'm gonna show here. This is an automator for the, it's a sort of a main controller for the lips. So they will pull the lips in some automated way. So this is, there are many ways to make automations, right? So this, for better posing, they also have a shrink wrap bone constraint, an outside surface. So it is outside, but it is glued to the surface. So this is more like a control rig stuff. Sometimes it can be bad, but in principle I like to have it. So if I want to pull this like that, then I would probably do this from the, because if these things don't have the shrink wrap, as this thing rotates, depending on the character design, the muzzle design, this can create some inconsistencies very easily. So this is in the file you can download for free for the Universal Sonic Melt rig. You can you see, you can verify that this is, it's very smooth, because also the muzzle model is very spherical. So it's a very simplified version, right? But not all the character designs that has this muzzle or that use the, can use the Universal Sonic Melt rig setup, they have so simple approach. So this character design difference and complexities is what can make the rig incredibly more complicated to make the setup. Okay, so here we these bones, we have the snap mode outside. Oh yeah, actually good idea, maybe not good idea. So let's swap this to outside too. So now that this can, we can do this polling, we cannot go inside but we can go outside. So maybe this will be useful. The only thing that I'm concerned here is that if I'm rotating here, aren't they going to go outside? So apparently it is not going outside, because strangely enough, but it might be a bit irregular, so I don't, yeah, it's, I think it's a bit tricky. So let's just recover this system here. Otherwise you can probably keyframe this, yeah, add driver, frame the worst case scenario, right? We can do that. But here is the difference. Now you're gonna see what is really cool. So this is not the universal Sonic Malbridge setup. This is an automation of the arcades along with the melt deforms. Here I'm going to hide some hair, eye stuff so that we can have better visibility on that. So here, if the problem is that, okay, so this one, which is the master side, it will pull the arcades to melt an arcades, and if I do symmetric, this should be moving the arcades too, but I think I've made some changes in the parenting. Let's remake that. How that was the parent of this thing? Oh, it's just okay, this is parent to here, as it should. These blue ones for the lips, they are parented to, so these are parented to this to this, and this to here. So it's a hierarchy, right? It's very straightforward. The lips, tweak lips and deform lips, they are parented to, hold on, oh yeah, they bypass this bone. This is for the automation, so this is a bit tricky to implement, but so that I could use, yeah, so I cannot explain this properly, but here I've already made an explanation for that in a recent, it's not published yet, I think, highlight. It's how this bone constraint for automation, just some copy transform. I'll show you, for example, this one that is here for this lip. It has one control lip with influence here. This is a copy transforms bone constraint. It just works, right? So basically this is targeting this control lip. So when I move it, despite this is not parented, this is not the children of this, it is children of this, but it is bone constraint though to this. So there is an influence when I just move this, as this will move totally 100% because this is parenting relation. This will move just a bit, and this influence here, so you can change it, right? And so this is arbitrary how we make it, so it's relational. Local space owner, so it uses its own local space, and target local space with owner rotation. So as I pose this, it really doesn't care about the, and there are some variations there. Oh, I know what this happened. It is because no, I don't know why this is happening like that. Okay, it doesn't matter. So maybe I can do something different here. Now you see that now it going in bad way, so this is the way to go. So it follows at least the locations, right? The rotations are still a bit messy, but it's not so much about rotation. This is more about posing, right? And before, very important, before original. So very easy to get this messed up. So this is one, and so it will stack. So you can stack with, those are not conflicting, so this is for the master lip. So that means that, okay, this I didn't put the control lip because the control lip is there, actually there is one. So this is moving this by a lot, I think. No. Control lip left, yes. This is the control. Is this? Yeah, you see, this is, it's true. It's doing the change. And then there's another, because for some reason I've decided to parent this to this. Yeah, not to the side, but to this. So in order to have this bone also being carried by this, I had to create this master one here for this one. So it will attract it. In the same way, right? So if I don't have it, it will stay there, which might not be ideal. So let's that stack, right? And of course then I can pose individually if we want. So here's the for the central, so this is sort of how the automation works, but then there are many ways to adjust that. So here I have the problem that these jaws should be moving the this is the top one. Yeah, so because this had got the parenting back to here, right? These ones, the master mouth, parent to the master mouth position, 100% stuff, right? So I need to re-enable this bone constraint, just another copy transfer, but this is slightly different. So this is via, so now this and this will make that when I rotate this bone, it will carry this thing up through bone constraint, not through parenting. But it is using, this is a fake parent bone constraint. It's not child of bone constraint. Child bone constraint for noobs. This is the real thing, right, folks? Copy transforms. Follow that. This is very interesting. I found out after a very long time. I had no idea that was possible. It's really sort of how mimics parent offset thing, and so it sort of used the custom space for the owner. So the owner, which is the owner of the bone constraint, so this bone, which is here, right, it owns the bone constraint, so it will use a custom space, which means it's an arbitrary space that we decide what it is. So I've decided that it will be the armature's master jaw. So this one. So okay, maybe this is not the best idea, but this is the jaw, sorry. This is not, it is this one that I want. Yeah, master jaw. So no, this is not what I want. So I want this one. Master top. And so here I can control the influence. I must see, yeah, so we want a lot of influence maybe. So it's like, now I can pose this individually. Actually, it's not. Wait, I've just rendered this useless. Okay, so we have the top arcade here. It is moving both the jaw, the arcade, the top arcade, and the lips, like a more regular mouth setup, right? And then we can tweak. Yeah, this is incorrect because my idea for this, so I have to rethink this. It's like I need to neutralize this bone here. Like, yeah, they are not the same, of course. So yeah, I need to think here. Anyways, it was working in a previous version in a different way. I've just dismantled something of relevance here. So there's, this should be moving the arcades. So what happened here? Control job bot, control. Oh yeah, maybe that was the case. Okay, so these ones, of course, these are the tweaks of the arcade. So basically, I probably can do this here, because if this bone is led by this through bone constraint, of course we cannot have the simultaneously the same thing, right? This being led by that. So this is higher priority, the top jaw top, right? Control jaw top. And this is lower priority, but this should be moving the, if I pose it, I want to move the arcades altogether, but it will still be different than this one, because this moves well, I'll just make them equivalent. So yeah, so different. This is the question I have. It's more a conceptual question, and for some reason I want to have these pivot points here working. It sounds more organized, more structured, right? And the Universal Sonic Melt rig, there is no such structure. Instead, the pivoting, it's an abstract pivoting, because the mouth, the arcades, they would sort of pivot in some way around the surface, curvature surface of the muzzle character, of the character. So it doesn't have this kind of pivotal structure, and I think they are relevant for certain projects, for certain character design. So here, the way to go, which I'll have to find out, of course, later, you're just gonna bone constrain this, copy transforms like not world space, or location, local space before regional, maybe not maximum, but we'll try. Okay, so here this is doing this. We see that the bone is not, it's still following there. This is, I picked the wrong bone, so hold on. Wait, I don't know what I've done here. So yeah, just created some inconsistent thing. Let's do this again. So this, Ctrl+Shift+C, copy transforms before original. This is normal, it goes crazy, local space orientation, and here there's a yeah, so here I have this problem. I don't think I can prevent this, so this is the unrest pose. It will already has, no, it doesn't have, okay, so this can work, okay, so it's not moving on rest position no matter the influence, so that's great. This is what I want. So as soon as I start to pose, not this one, as soon as I start to pose this one, that we have the jaw, the top arcade following. So here you can probably do this. So this is the system I think I had before, so you get this. And then if you want some more, yeah, you see it's pivoting from there, so it's not, and even more, there's more stuff that is like sort of redundant here, because we have this arcade stuff. They are parented to the mechanism bone, which is parented to this, and so this arcade stuff for the top arcade, they have shrink wrap bone constraints. I was told the muzzle ghost, so they are offset like that, but they really will prevent the arcades to bypass the front, at least from here. From here we don't have any protection, and if I turn these shrink wraps off, then we can make some protruding arcades, which can be useful. I can control some scaling here. This is obtained by a stretch 2 bone constraint, and the copy scale is the thing that is allowing, just make today, allowing this Z and not Y, Z and X, which I'm not gonna use this too much for occasionally, because this is already automated by need to hide the ghost muzzle here. You see how the arcades, they will, let's open them out so you see better. Here I think I have a problem with the automation. I need to improve. Oh, it's because the bottom jaw is not fixed yet. I need to recover the this motion there. So it's simple, it's just that I want this to be, in this case, copy transform control jaw bot. Oh, yes, this is correct. So this is pulling these already in a very low influence. You can try to augment this, right? Yeah, this is more likely, but we are having this is not having any influence on the arcades. This is not what I want. So here I'm just gonna control C, copy selected bone constraint. Okay, it copied. This is the bottom, but now I just have to, it copied exactly, so it's, we want something different. And there is some yeah, there is some here. I don't know how I can prevent this. They are stacking transforms, so this can be annoying. So this is why I think that maybe I should sort of disable these two bones here. Like, I have to, like, this should be sufficient, right? So if that bone can inherit the quality of the pivotal thing and the way it is working alongside with this and this, so if it could be like in this how to say in quantum physics, the superposition, right? So that will be interesting, right? So here this is happening because I think I'm lacking some, I have made some very radical pose, or not. Yeah, I did. So hidden bones. So in principle here quick lips. And here the one, oh yeah, this is awkward right now. Let's say no dependency side. So this bone of the master jaw, it can carry the rotation of all the features of the face. So that even the I need to symmetrize here. So this is leading bone, not the master mouth. So this is important because of this character design. The structure of the face sort of should deform, right, in sync with the mouth. It's not just about moving the mouth to one side or the other of the face. The structure of the face should sort of have some slight adaptation. So this is super complicated, as I must agree. So I haven't completely found the ideal adjustment, if there is ever any ideal solution to this thing. But anyways, the cool thing is that we're already starting to have many things working after a lot of developments. So it can work. And here we have some wave painting issues. Let's see if is that symmetrized. Gonna check here. Oh, these are also not symmetrized. So okay, let's symmetrize this tree here. And so Control X, we can, yeah, the expressions are quite good, right? So this is they are starting to be coherent, right? So at this point, let's try to make some progress in the after all these explanations and yeah, some tweaking there, retweaking. Yeah, there are more stuff to adjust in this, in the setup. I have to put more thought in all that, but for now I want to address the anatomic shape key. So what is that? Is just a So I've hidden the armature. This is also something that is not present in the in the universal sonic melt rig. So I have what I call an anatomic lips. Let's make a highlight here, folks. So folks, this is not present in the original universal sonic melt rig, but it uses shape keys, so it can shape a lot of stuff. But here I'm using a special concept of the of the shape keys, which is an addition that sort of combines super well with the universal sonic melt rig setup. And I've got this idea by studying the universal sonic melt rig setup, by the way, because there is something about the understanding for melt rigging and for organic rigging in general, which is, let's try to find I think I don't have it here, unfortunately. Yeah, so never mind. So sorry folks, so here I'm gonna show here, but you can look at the universal sonic melt rig, the file. If you look at the file, it's free to download. You get it from the Blender Artist forum. So basically you see that the lips here, the lips geometry, are very regular, or at least should be, right? And here I can make some improvements, by the way, so I'm gonna just, because it's all about improving this geometry. So here let's use a quick technique here just to fix this. I'll place this 3D cursor tool with geometry, and you'll use this cursor and this 3D cursor. I'm not sure about this one, but the 3D cursor is there. So SZ0, so I'll align all those faces like here, and this is not even aligned with world space, right, or with the object's origin. And so here we're gonna do this again. We'll pick this this didn't work. Oh yeah, I picked the wrong. Okay, let's do this SX0. Then let's GZ. Oh yeah, that's it. So we got this. So now they are sort of aligned, and yeah, there's some mistake there. So let's get this, and let's make sure now we don't have this. Let's pick this face, entire face here. I think they went through some struggle. SZ0. Oh, the face is wrong still. Sorry, need to focus the hold Alt or scroll the wheel down to reduce the motion here. Let's place this shift space cursor, pick this SE0. No, I'm missing something. Okay, so for some reason this is not behaving properly, but it doesn't need to be perfect, right? If I just, my idea here was exactly to have excessive mesh here, so that it would be possible to you make the anatomic shape key that I'm gonna mention. So the mesh starts very regular of the lips as proposed, right, by the universal sonic melt rig, and so that the skinning algorithm won't have, well, let's do something better here, won't have much trouble shaping the lips if they are so close, right? It's a bit annoying to shape, right? But with this should be better. There's okay, so maybe we can smooth some of this stuff. That will simplify some of the workflow here. So yeah, I've made an alignment that might not be the ideal one to start with, because there is a possibly, according to the character design, maybe there would be a curvature. Now this again, whoops. Okay, I'll cancel this highlight, and my mouse is going crazy, I think. This went well. Too much problems. I'll be back in. Actually, there's also something. I will try to make a different way of highlighting. I'll explain what is the anatomic shape key in a highlight, but I need first to fix this. Otherwise, I'll never reach there. Let's need to focus on this first, because this mesh was a bit disrupted, as we could see, and if it is like that, it's just not gonna help. It's imperative that we get these shapes right at this point. But you see that even the way it was, the lips were deforming quite well for many expressions, right? So we're just gonna redistribute this mesh a little better, because it's terrible. Yes, so these were the worst. So here probably can try to smooth this a little. Then for these ones, let's try with some smoothing here. Yes, why not? Alright, this is fine. I'll show you what it is about the character design. So it looks like it is there's an inclination, but actually if we see from a certain angle, it is not like that. So this is a very curious thing about right, and it is symmetric, right, but it's an illusion mostly. Now let's try the highlight thing, and I don't know if my computer will support that too long, so I'm gonna record inside OBS Studio as I'm streaming. It's okay. So folks, here we got a the concept. I've made this concept still experimental, but it works indeed for certain case very clearly. It's the anatomic shape key. It's a constant shape key that, yeah, here is ugly, but if we let it at, let's say like that, that is worked as a way to get an anatomic complex shape, like through a morph, so through a shape key that is not the basis, the basis is, for example, a very regular mesh. For example, in the universal sonic melt rig we have the lips modeled just like that, something like this, and you see how regular it is. More than that, you see that in the character design here, if you look from a front view, it looks like that it is right, it is angular. Oh, this is angular clearly, but this is an illusion, because in fact it is mostly straight, and it can be right, it just needs a certain angle, so it's a visual illusion, right? So this is something analog to some geometric problems visualization in geology. Also there's this orientation of planes kind of stuff, so this can create some, I think it's related. So anyways, here, so this is where comes the anatomic shape key, because if I gonna pose this model which use the universal sonic melt rig setup, let's get the armature here. You see that the lips have no volume, right? We can create shape keys for the volume of the lips, right? But they are very basic, right? So it's not super elegant for, depending on the character design and the anatomy and all that. So what we can do is that we can have, yes, really a constant shape key, therefore hence the anatomic shape key, that ideally, so I need to retake it because have changed the mesh and some stuff, so it messed it up. So I need to get it to 100 something good looking, like maybe something that would be close to this, right? And then the skinning method, the skinning algorithm, the armature deform stuff, the deforms, they will bypass, actually this bypasses the skinning method. So that means that it will not enter, this mesh geometry here will not enter in the calculations of the, meaning that we can preserve the anatomic shape key, the shapes, the anatomic morph. They will deform as if they weren't deformed. I mean, they will follow the structure of the regular geometry of the lips, original lips, these lips, it will follow this, and so this is why it bypasses the skinning algorithm. It's not being calculated by it, so it will appear on top, like procedurally, let's say. And so this is crazy, because imagine what you can do. It's like a bit like analog to the idea of a base mesh, basically. So, but it's true shape key, anatomic shape key. So this will be a constant value that we don't touch, we even lock. We don't want to be changing this. We can reduce if we can make change, but this is not to be driven, folks. This is really, the idea is to make it constant. So you have the because if I model the lips in complex organic shapes, it's very likely that at least for certain poses of the mouth, especially in a highly exaggeratable setup like that allows the, like in the universal sonic melt rig requirements, the lips will go completely crazy, because it's so hard for the skinning algorithm to offer it good results. Well, then this is why binding a mesh with a how to say, the mesh deform modifier, binding the mesh to a base mesh, which is a simple geometry that holds the right regular geometry. So it's a bit analog to that, but this is just, it's achieved through a shape key on top of a base mesh that is regular. The base mesh is the character mesh in this case, right? So we don't use modifier here, object modifier, we use the shape key and a special shape key. So I don't know if this concept exists, but usually shape keys, we see them as, at least from the tutorial, right, you see them as stuff to be driven, right, for facial expressions or for corrective shape keys. We don't see them as a constant thing. So this idea, this concept, I've only reached that thanks to the Kamau and the guy who made available the universal sonic mount rig and developed it for Blender. So because there is a in-depth investigation of the mount rigging in Blender, organic mount rigging. So that's it, folks. That's it for the highlight. Now, yes, let's retake this at once. So I need to reset this and making sure show all, reset and hide, select all, reset. Okay, nothing here, so let's just pick, I don't know, mount and isolate visibility. So folks, the chat is in front here, but I'll see if anything comes new. So here, let's get this, let's fix this anatomic shape key by yeah, reducing here. This time I will readdress this and hope that will make this properly. Maybe a quick highlight here. I hope this time this will work without problems. So folks, new case, good case here for using the technique of the cursor tool. Basically pick it and let's say I place it on geometry right here to you see that it aligned to one of these faces here. So I want, they are not perfectly aligned for some reason. I want them to be perfectly aligned because I can, or at least should be able to. So then here we need to use the transforms orientation of the 3D cursor, and then I'll select only these top faces here. And because I want to, yeah, I think because I want to align this to the 3D cursor, I believe I will use the SZ0, right? So this is why I believe this would be necessary. It sounds redundant, but this is for the orientations of the cursor. So this is quite confusing. While this is more about the the positioning. Like, oh, I want to position this aligned on the Z, but the Z with the orientations of the 3D cursor. So you see the 3D cursor has orientations. I don't know very well about its rotations there, but see, but at least we see that two of its axes are aligned with that face. And now all the faces are aligned with themselves. So now we do this again. We shift space bar, then we get here. Must have geometry, otherwise it just won't do the trick. The other things I'm not sure. The view, okay, this is self-explanatory. I never used that, but maybe this is good. Yeah, transform in the current transform setting. I have no idea what it is for known. Well, why not? Okay, so here geometry clearly. Then I'm gonna. Oh, there's a loose face there. Let's return to the tweak. Yeah, I need to fix that, folks. So I'm just gonna do this, GG, GG, there we go. Then now I get, yeah, there's there. Gonna pick these faces. Let's try without this time. Gonna save SZ0. Yeah, you see, not good. Oh, this orientation is not good, so actually let's do the following. I want exactly the same as there, so space bar. Let's use this one as a reference. And here SZ0, you see it seems to have a line, even though I didn't use this. Let's see. Now it goes there, but then just GZ, because it will maintain the alignment since the orientations is based on the 3D cursor orientations, right? So is why we can do this as if I was using local space for an object that which has its origin oriented in some way, and then I'm using local space as if I was doing this GZ stuff, right? Or GY. So, but now 3D cursor, right? All right. So next, I have this tactic for this. By the way, this stuff here, I've made their origins to be or not to be. I've made their origins to be why it doesn't show the, okay, so let's do this is control dot, right? You see the origin, so I don't apply these rotations. Well, this has the one and the other are messed up, so oh, this is not okay. I don't know what's happening, but you got the idea. So this allows then to use similar things. So I could have, for instance, without even using the 3D cursor, the cursor tool here, right? If I use the local space, the local transforms orientation, because the origin of this object is different, so this planes, it's a mirror modifier there. If I go GY, you see, GZ, GX, it's not world space. So this can be very useful here for this kind of character design, because we have this radical orientation, right, for these arcades. They're pointing downward, right? So stylistic stuff. Alright, so something about the armature there not was imposed, it's not keyframe. Let's then show all, let's just fix that and hide. Apparently some bone that has got clearly this is something went wrong. It's a sorry folks, I don't know what's going on here. This is probably this it's not resetting. There's nothing here. What else is related to this? Oh, it's of course, it's an old setup here. Mechanism buffer shoulder. Okay, I see what's that. So Control C, copy selected constraint, copy location. Let's go back to the upper arm here, of course. Change here. I cannot symmetrize here because there's a little problem with the... Wait. No, this is the old setup, right? Or not? No, this is still... Or then maybe then this one. I thought I have fixed that. Oh yeah, it's this thing. So pause spaces would solve this, I guess, yeah. Not solved? Okay. I cannot symmetrize because I have to make a special driver setup for that because these... Oh no, hold on, I can symmetrize. These are not the bones which have I-key settings. The I-key settings, the Z, limit Z option settings get messed up in the symmetrization. They need to fix it, I've reported that. So here let's get here this symmetrization fence. Let's try. These bones have nothing to do with this. Oh, there's a stretch to accidental stretch. So this was nothing that I was thinking of. Sorry, folks. Alright, so now that we have fixed that, let me stop recording for a moment because we start recording so I can conclude the highlight properly. So and now I just forgot what I was willing to explain. It was not the anatomic shaky, was not the orientations. Oh yes, it's just fixing those lips, right? Exactly, just fixing those lips. And I think we've done it. Yeah, so there's nothing else. Sorry folks, got confused here. Stop recording, not stop streaming. Alright, so let's go back here. So anatomic, now that these lips were improved, their base geometry, it's time to just address the anatomic lips. GG, maybe we can do this, yes. GG. So this, I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle this. Not wave painted very well. I don't know how it will relate to the arcades, often causing some intersections. So this is still messy. It's also not super relevant, right? So for this character design. It is important, but it's not. What is that shadow there? Don't remember. That's very crazy. Anyways, but it's very annoying, right? So here we go for the. So we're gonna model this. We're gonna make this into edit mode indeed, and we're going to try to shape as good as we can. Already we have some idea here, so the problem is that it's too messed up, right? I have no idea how much things are being messed there, so I'll even there, right? So it's very chaotic. It's even distorting some other stuff, so this is very chaotic, but it gives some good idea of what it should do, right? So probably I should just delete it by now. Go on object mode and delete. I won't have the reference now, which is annoying. So anatomic, so lips. So I'm gonna use this and start here. So now the idea now starts some challenge is to. So here we can really play with the geometry. Probably I could have another subdivision there. So the idea here would be to start to pull the mesh out of the lips interior there. And this is why I've made this separate color, so I can understand better what are the shapes. And so this is very tricky. So to help this process, I'll just hide some mesh here. Include this and this face loop. Yeah, we can just work with this. And also you can hide this mouth stuff for now, and whichever other stuff. We'll try to focus only on this. It will be a little bad because we don't see the rest of the face, but I think this should be sufficient after we reassess those things. So I'm not trying to shrink the lips, I'm just trying to get an anatomic shape from this rest position as it is. So here yeah, so the time for this, so this is the last thing I'm gonna do today in the stream. So haven't done a lot of presentation, right, but not too much progress. So this will be a little advancement, and it's a bit time consuming, right? We need to have good shape here, and it's not that simple. So here there is this possibility to try to bring this closer there, right, to this. So I've made so many face loops there, or edge loops, so that I have a lot of way more possibilities to play with that. So here I'm gonna pick this, and ultimately I'd like to find a solution for lips topology, mesh topology, that will be better for this that I'm trying to do. I mean, regarding the face loops here, you see that the bottom lips, it tends to protrude way more, which is can be sort of natural thing, but then it's really hard for modeling, because at least modeling, because the on this regular mesh geometry, because we want symmetry top and bottom, but there's no symmetry, right? Ideal symmetry. Instead we need to make a lot of radical change. So here you see this is already the last one for the bottom, so but that should be enough. So this shouldn't go beyond certain thresholds, so maybe here we can use some proportional editing and attention. Yeah, no, maybe not, because these faces don't want to be moving them too much. So we could use at least this thing. So here this clearly needs to, we need to start pulling. So this is very thin. This area is always very complicated, the lips corner, especially because I have too much geometry going on. Maybe if I smooth this out. Okay, so let's start to pull the there's a tendency to pull this towards the inner part. Okay, this is fine, just to try to follow up what's happening in the center, right? Because we want this particular shape, sensual shape here. This is not good, of course. Something might be happening to the something that I'm not aware yet. Maybe some posed bones that are going crazy. So here we can, for these last ones, for the bottom lip, we could consider that, yeah, we can move this up, maybe get this thing more like this. Maybe this we can protrude, which can cause some problem, of course. can smooth this out. Okay, so you see for the, or maybe you don't see, but for the top lip I was not very able to get too much things moved. Maybe by working from here I can do something better. Yeah, this is already intersection. So you see that I have to identify what's going on. This is can be a terrible problem, some sort of clipping in the shape key thing, or caused by morphs. So I'm not sure, so I'm trying to prevent this. Yeah, maybe this helps. It's very chaotic right now, but this is not a problem. We'll get there eventually. We can always reduce the, if this gets too bad for the rig, then we just reduce the so the subdivision surface modifier has an important play here, and this is why I have all these edge creases. To prevent the, even here I have one, to give some, to prevent the smoothness to get the smoothness will prevent some reorganization of the mesh. It will spread them apart, some strange behavior. So this is why we need some, if using this. And so here's like the, yeah, and what's happening is that the armature here, maybe I have a pose, unwanted pose, but I have a shrinking, this is horrible to see, right? Basically, let's get the deformed lips. Oh, this is okay, never mind. Isolate view. Okay, so I have this and this. Basically, I have a setup here that is a warping system. So I could solve this by just repositioning these bones. It's like the rest position is like that, and the deformed bones are exactly positioned in the. Let's do a cool trick here. I've never. So it's like selecting the deformed bones. I've seen last time. I've seen CG Dive working on that, I think. Like, don't have bone colors for the deformed bones, right? Just to leave the main colors to something else, right? So, but yeah, there's an disadvantage on that, is that we can get confused, because if I create new bones, so instead perhaps giving them a terrible color, right? There's no terrible color, but I don't know, some color that, so usually I've learned that the red was the nice one, but then I've found out that red is also good for, so I really don't know, so maybe I should do a custom set here. Some ludicrous color. What is this? I don't even know what is this. Regular, select, active. Yeah, so cyan colors or something like that. And this is active. Oh, the active, right? So yeah, there's no need of a lot of variation here. Never seen a bone with this color, so intriguing. So why deformed bone should be like that, I don't know. Can I save this custom? Yeah, I don't know, so it should be somewhere in the properties control comma preference, right? Then themes, bone colors, bone color sets. Oh, there we go. So that was how it is, and we have some color setted, color constraints. I think this enabled the, okay, so I'll get this perhaps, regular, selected, active, and selected constraints. We're gonna make a test here. So these are corner bones. Yeah, I recognize them from. So if they are bone collection here, quick map. Okay, so this one I think has not the, let's just symmetrize this. There we go. Collection, let's just change this to here. If this has a bone constraint, I don't see anything, right? So it's like no chance here, so I don't know what this is about. So so control comma things rarely mess this stuff, but it's funny. This can, well, let's just read. Allow the use of color indicating bool constraint keyed status. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's inconsistent. Right, so I've made a new of those. This is nice. So here, let's continue. So we can, of course, yeah, so you see that the anatomic lips, they are not perfect, but they seem to be working. They don't deform crazily. It's just that the shape itself, it's a little awkward, especially from this rest pose. But I said that this is already a question of making a best rest pose in a great deal. But there are some things that I probably can improve. Yeah, so here apparently this, let's use some and the bottom lip is doesn't seem to be doing its job. I've made much better shapes on this system, so I really don't know why. Maybe I'm getting confused because of the subdivision. That is not doing a lot because of the edge creases, right? So let's insist. So protrude the bottom lip a little more, and maybe here also. Let's maybe the volume. Yeah, so one of the problems that looks like that I've protruded too much this in relation to the top one. And so there are, yeah, the problem is that I was not taking care of the model sheet, right? Must be much, sorry, yeah, must be much simpler if I was checking that since the beginning, right? So my mistake here. 3D is, I have a model sheet, so let's try to but it's not very clear here, I guess, for this specific. Yeah, no, this is not very clear. I need another drawing here as a reference. Yeah, it's close enough, but it's not what I want, so I need more. Deeper steps here. We're getting close. So maybe I don't complete it today. Let's try to use proportional posing. Let's try to, yeah, so in this way trying to pulling these vertices out, because no, not this, this. And one thing we could try to do is just, yeah, the problem is now I've lost the hidden mesh. One thing that maybe could be achieved is some ripped mesh there. No, it's just an illusion. It's because of subdivision surface modifier. So here it's just hiding some of these lower lip meshes, and this is not helping at this point. Yeah, this, so, but it's difficult to work like that. Like I don't really understand what I need for the top lip. Like it's alone, so it's confusing. At least we can reorganize this stuff here, so that's so at least for this head has a purpose. And also here maybe smooth this. I need to revise how I've done in the past with other characters, or my character, right, of this style, where I thought I had better results. I was doing something. Alright, so let's try to see now. Yeah, it's not there, but there's a lot of things here. Again, this is about the posing, but we can, for now, we can just give it this amount here. It doesn't need to be a perfect value, it doesn't matter, so we get this. Yeah, probably not luck. Try to register where we are getting problems. So currently in this corner. For some reason so in this part of the lips it's extremely confusing there. It's like and then the top part is just getting too much of a little more geometry could help here, from the face maybe here, but I'm not sure that will be the best solution for now, so let's try to do whatever we can with the current condition. Yeah, this is not getting any better, so probably I should try to looping. Yeah, it's getting a strange loop there going inside, and this is the thing about the topology, or maybe I'm just doing something terribly wrong. Wrapping around. Oh, I see. I see. I see. So basically this needs to be keep this protruded. I need to try to maintain here this structure out, despite the fact it is in the corner. So I think I found the culprit here. So this loop must be respected, same as this loop. So I need to pull this to the front. So it will sort of stick out no matter what, but results are not very good yet, but at least we made it a little more regular. Yeah, I should use the colors as a reference. Like this reddish, more pinkish color is from the outside, and then the purplish one would be from the inside. Yeah, so I was not even using this properly, the reference. So this is still very hard. Sometimes I get it right easy, sometimes not. So this is why I still believe there would be a better method, or some, yeah, a method that I just need to figure out a better workflow or some special solution for this. And yeah, let's fix this at once, because I can't stand this. Basically we need to here get the The problem is the parenting relation. These bones, if I apply the... So basically what I need to do is to try to get the twig bones a yeah, I need first to snap them. So I'm gonna add a shrink wrap outside surface. Or actually this is not important, so I just first I'm gonna save a iteration. I'm gonna swap this to... Okay, so this could be a good condition for a highlight, folks, the last one. So I have these twig bones and the deformed bones at the lip which cannot move. They are bone constraints, and they start here and then they warp to the position of the twig map. So these are lip bones, the deformed and the twig. So the control rig has the right. So in the end, so the problem is that many problems. I had to find. This is like the last thing probably that we want to do. One of the last thing in the rig, because if you have to retake, this is serious problems because of some shrink wrapping features. So the control rig here, these twig lips, they have a shrink wrap that is outside, which allows us to not pull this inside the mesh because it has a invisible ghost muzzle mesh behind. We cannot pull this inside, but because of the outside can still pull them with some effort outside. So we can do this, right? So even though we cannot push inside to some extent, so each of them have this, but the problem is that the repositioning that I have to do to these bones, so it could even be collection because they have the twig lips here, or by color in this vision, but the collection is safer in this by default, right? If the collection is perfect. So here there's no rogue bone there, so here I got changed this outside temporarily to outside surface. So you see that they are now sticking to the surface, which is, yeah, I want to keep this value here no matter what. So these outside, they are sort of loose already, so they were affected, so I want something more. So from then I will apply selected as rest pose. But the problem is that this operation, it makes the child bone, even if we don't select the child bone, because these deformed bones here, they are parented to their respective twig bone, besides the copy transforms bone constraint. Replace both spaces, it goes directly, it warps directly from here to here, right? So, and so the question here is, if I want to keep this setup on the rest position, not only, yeah, I've just seen that so these are the twig bones and these are the deformed bones, and you see already that the deformed bones are a bit displaced, so you can quickly fix that if I get this snap to face project, I think, include non-edited. Yes, we probably can. So here I don't want to be looking at the tweak, and let's pick this. And yeah, no, it's not this, sorry folks, it's face. And here should be a bit careful, but in principle this should be sufficient to get these things in order. And also, oh yeah, I should be using this also, very necessary here. So you see, they are not being displaced or derotated by the normals or anything like this. So I'm gonna position this. Also, I'm gonna hide these other ones because I don't want to be looking here after we check back again if that's correct. So I need some positioning here for, no, just, yeah, it's hard to select the bone from this. So here I will positioning this in some strategic area in the edge loop, right? So I'm gonna do the same here. And for these ones, well, they are more or less centralized, so this one would be a bit tricky if they got decentralized. They don't snap very well, right? So this is tricky. The bone just doesn't respond well enough, but here just fix this location here. And this is pose mode, by the way, folks, so I'm gonna, and here gonna, these are deformed bones again, remembering. Okay, so here we got, but we need to, okay, I don't know what's going on with this bone. Oh, it's a, lip top. No, this is the central one. So I'm just going to, okay, let's try to place it here, and with the 3D cursor SC0, no? Okay, this is not working, folks, so nothing is working here. Okay, the snap just goes crazy. Probably I'm missing something. I don't know, but okay, this is a good, seems to be a good position for these bones. It doesn't need to be perfect, right, anyway. So here let's unhide and see if this, yeah, probably everything here is set. So this is the rest position. And then for the deformed bones, sorry for the color, I'm just testing. And now the tweak lips, which I will arbitrarily give them some sort of, so here's the same idea, right? But I want to have the mouth a bit more closed, so I'm gonna, so this for the lips corner, so I need to start to try to imagine a certain position, how the mouth will be. So I'm trying to follow the curvature here of the lips from this angle, of course, and just try to, although we could have something more like here, right? So yeah, so let's try that. Then I'll move these together, also not individual here. Here I have a problem because this is the top, and but I want the mouth closed. So here we have a, well, I'll have some trouble here because the lips are confusing me, the mesh there. Because this I have a, hold on, let's turn this off for a moment, and let's, I don't know, yes, because I need to apply, right? I cannot reset well, no, I'm changing I'm not using the operation apply rest position, because if I were to do that, I have to unparent the bones, or rather deformed bones, they will follow immediately. So here oh, I was changing the 3D cursor location, of course. Alright, so we can see that this is matching more or less, and this is not matching, so here I try to get this, and the snapping, yeah, because it's too hard, so just ignore. Why are these? I think they were never snapped properly, so this represent the lips corner, could be around here, deal up, yeah, something like that. Okay, let's try this now. Yes, so here we go. The side, there is some problem there. So not about rotation here, we are on our own. Maybe this is because of, maybe get this a bit closer to this, and this a bit more diagonally up. Okay, I got the idea. So this is just the trick bone, so this a bit more like here, and this a little more closer here. It was very subtle like that. Yeah, so here, no, and do this. We almost got this. Yeah, maybe this needs to be closer. Oh, this is very far, right? So this might be the reason. Alright, now this is mostly good. Yeah, let's accept this, finally. Then, let's see if that anatomic clip is any... Yeah, need more shaping, but it improves by a lot. And so now, we don't need to use all the... Alright, so then this is more work to be doing, but in principle this is nice. So here what I want to show you, especially for this highlight, is the problematic of the pose apply stuff, right, for the on pose mode. So basically, if I got back here all the bones, right? Oh, why don't you just apply those, right? On pose mode, they already are on shrink wrap, right? By the way, the shrink wrap is another problem. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. They would be... The twig bones are moving because they have a... Not because of this, but because of the shrink wrap. So probably I would have to apply them nonetheless, because this is causing more deforms that I want. So I'll need to apply them. Yeah, so basically what I need to do is to unparent. So you see the rest, I'll mark the rest position of, for example, this bone here, the corners of the, and you'll see what happens. So I'm just gonna select the tweak lips, pose, apply, selected as rest pose. And so now the tweak lips, they are static right now. I can even go back to outside so they don't swap. Hold on. Yeah, you see, well, one of them are swapping, I don't know why. Maybe because some bone constraint. Anyways, the essential is the same thing. So, but as we go on the deform lips, we see that there are some displacement. The 3D cursor is offset now from the bone. So this is because this operator moved the child, even if they were not selected. It only happens with the parenting. It's not about bone constraints. When we use the unselected bones, this will apply to the child of the selected bones. And so far the hierarchy go through parenting, but it will ignore if a bone is not parented ultimately, but it's bone constraint, it won't do anything. It's just for parenting relation. So this is dangerous, but can also be very useful sometimes. And so now the problem is that I will have to reposition all over again these bones here, right? And so this is annoying, right? And it's also annoying because I would have to unparent, reparent. So that is why this setup it's probably one of the last things we want to do, right? These are the deformed bones. They don't need this doesn't probably need to be shouldn't be caring about the perfect positioning here, just regarding the mesh, but not regarding too much the shrink wrapping, because they are not owner of shrink wrap bone constraints. So now if I look at both bone layers, we see that this mostly seems mostly so here the anatomic lips might be, anatomic shape key lips might be working a little better. Yes, indeed. So this is without any, just regular mesh, and here with a lot, and maybe here I'll leave to something appealing enough. So for this character design, ideally I want to shape this as better icon. So I just lock this, go back to bases, and there we go. So here just about fixing those things, and getting improving, right, the deform rig here. Of course you can use shape keys, especially to shape better specific mouth shapes, because probably armature deform alone won't do it for a lot of expressions that we would like to have. So that's it, folks. That was it for today. So hope you enjoy. Tomorrow we'll be back and for more of these developments, and I'll try to make some more offline work to have more things to show and not being as repetitive also. So thanks for watching, folks. Take care, happy blending, see ya next time, enjoy.